said it, yeah, that's the difference. This my phone, you can't tell me what to say. So sit back, tune in, or get up out the way. Tunnel vision, I'm locked in now. It's me versus me, ain't nobody else alive.
Alright, y'all, we're back. Y'all already know what time it is. And y'all also know I'm not the only one that's gonna be traumatized by Colossal Cat content. I'm gonna come over here and traumatize y'all ass too. Now, before we get started, I need y'all to really pay attention, not just to what Colossal is saying, but also to what's happening around her. Because we all know that Colossal Cat vocabulary consists of no more than maybe 20 words. So she doesn't really know how to verbalize herself the way a 41-year-old idiot should. But she does a lot of things, the way that she acts, the way that she behaves, that shows you who she is, the type of woman she is, and most importantly, the type of mother she is. Or isn't, depending on who you ask. School just started, and her kids are already getting in trouble. But what did y'all expect? Of course her kids are going to get in trouble at school. Once again, what do you expect? From everything we've seen, we know for a fact there is little to no structure in the haunted dungeon. And you can't expect a child to know how to do something they were never properly taught. And that does include how to behave in public. Now, this is me not blaming the kids. It has absolutely nothing to do with them and everything to do with the adults responsible for teaching them. Kids are products of their environment, and if nobody is consistently teaching them boundaries, manners, respect, accountability, and how to conduct themselves in public, where are they supposed to learn it from? If they're not being taught it at home, where are they supposed to learn it from? Children don't come out knowing how to conduct themselves. You have to teach them. You have to correct them. It's mandatory. You have to give them consequences when they cross the line. You have to teach them how to communicate, how to respect authority, how to handle frustration, and how to treat other people, and how to function outside of the house. And that's what bothers me about situations like this. Because if a child is struggling at school, the answer shouldn't always be, these teachers don't like my child, or everybody is picking on my baby. Sometimes you have to be willing to look in the mirror and ask, what am I teaching my child at home? Because school cannot be the only place these kids are expected to learn discipline, manners, respect, emotional regulation, and accountability. Teachers are there to educate your children, not raise them. And when kids are consistently left without structure, eventually that lack of structure is going to show up somewhere.
I don't know where your teacher at.
I do know where my teacher at.
What grade you in, Kaya?
I'm in 4th.
4th grade.
Wait, but
She got it.
No, I'm in 5th now.
Right. Alright, she's in 5th.
This is an older video, and she didn't even know her kids' teachers' names, let alone what grade her kids were in.
Back this direction.
I don't know which class it is.
You can go. Come on.
This is another video, and this is the environment those kids come from before they even get to school.
Oh, my shoes. I'm good. No, you can go home. Come on. But y'all just the room. Dirties. We're going to my room. Mama, you want me to show the girls room?
Coronavirus, kids are at home, so I'm tutoring my son. He just started today. He has never been in school, so I'm doing homeschool with him. This is what we want to be doing.
Instead of doing what she needed to do to make sure her kids were properly dressed and getting to school on time, she called herself homeschooling HJ out of pure laziness. And from what we saw, the only thing she seemed concerned with teaching him was how to spell his name.
Learning how to write your name. All right, so we got his binders.
And between us, HJ would have had a better chance being taught by Shalana.
Coronavirus, kids are at home, so I'm tutoring my son. He just started today. He has never been in school, so I'm doing homeschool with him. This is what we're going to be doing as y'all watch. Have a seat. You like in classrooms. Have a seat. All right, so today we're going to be learning how to write your name. All right, so we got his binders where it tells us in.
It may show up in the classroom, it may show up in public, it may show up in their relationships, and eventually it can follow them into adulthood. So before we immediately blame the school, the teachers, or everyone else around these kids, maybe we need to ask the uncomfortable question: who is actually teaching these kids how to behave when the camera is off?
You don't see her.
Man, that lady heart jumping her body. I told her, I said, I'm sorry. She in the army, she probably react fast. You know how people is in the army, they react real fast. Anyways, today is officially Thursday afternoon, and I want to address this DSS case with my children on my channel, since everybody is so nosy. Everything is good with the children. I have not been accused of sexual abuse or physical neglect or what else them kids was reporting down there, or adults. Whatever y'all was reporting down there, I was not accused of none of those things. Now, I did slack off with the school a little bit, so, you know, I hold myself accountable for the school. Because, you know, I was pregnant, I had to explain myself to that, but that doesn't mean that, you know, that I'm neglecting my child in school at any cost. But, you know, they say a little, you know, I slack off a little bit with the school, so that's okay. And I'm not worried about that. Because, you know, as a parent, we make mistakes in life. Nobody's perfect. Like I always say, we human. And people seem like you a bad mother because of certain things that they doesn't like that you do for your children. And that, go ahead, you good. You're trying to get over. And that they just hateful and spiteful and don't want to see you happy. But by them getting my kids taken away from me for the last 2 months, it made me realize things a lot different, because I'm focusing more on them and the money that needs to be coming in to help pay these bills and help do things that I need to get done. Because, you know, I had some true supporters out here when I was pregnant with Saisha. I had some true supporters out here that was helping me pay bills, like my rent and my light and my water and my internet. And that was a blessing, because they was also sending like paper towels and soaps and deodorant and all that stuff to the house. So I thought about all that too as well when the kids were gone. Like, you know, you got some true supporters out here. You got some people who does do things for you for them to talk about you or whatever. But the thing about it all is, just because the kids leave, that doesn't stop my blessings at all. It didn't stop anything, because people feel like, oh, well, we can get the kids away from her, or we can keep calling out there with false allegations to get the kids away from her, that she won't be getting none of the stuff that she received on TikTok. The same thing that I'm doing and the same thing that I receive on TikTok, anybody else can receive it too as well. It's not hard just to pick up a phone or a computer or a tablet and just go out there and post a video. Like the girl who did the period. She went famous off of just doing nothing.
You do. But the school ain't pay for my motherfucking kids' clothes. They volunteer to help. I had the money. I had plenty of money to go get my kids stuff. So I don't know where y'all getting that information from.
I hate a po-ass delusional hoe.
Y'all cat, and I'm taking damn good care of my kids. It's still the summertime. It's the 14th. I got plenty time to do what I gotta do to make sure my girls are straight. If you ain't gonna help donate, if you ain't gonna help do nothing, then leave me alone. I got this all under control. Stop coming into my comments, man. It's getting on my nerves. And I got a fucking job. You know what my job is? Sitting right here where I'm at, taking care of my fucking children from what I always do, housekeeping. Y'all got so much y'all gotta say. Y'all always talking about certain things that y'all need to be talking about, and I'm tired of it. It's fucking annoying, bruh. It's annoying, because y'all go on and 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 on. Now the boys got a haircut. They tell me, oh, the boys got bald heads, they ugly. What? Y'all talk about the damn boys now. Like the boys, they say, oh, y'all hair ugly and bald. Some people, negative people, grown ass women, yo. Not kids. These are grown women, yo. Grown ass women coming into my comments. I said, Lord, these grown women up here talking shit like they ain't got kids. Or you act like your child ain't never walk around with a knot of hair before. I don't know what kind of world y'all living in, yo. This is 2022. But this world we living in now is so cruel. Y'all supposed to be helping. We black women supposed to stick together. And it's the black women. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. It's the black women going against the black women. Y'all supposed to be working together with each other. Y'all supposed to be out here helping each other. Build each other up, not go against. Go! You ready to go to Walmart? Get you some snacks? Yes, go! We're gonna get you some snacks. Stop crying.
Right, and they talking no gas.
Put your arm in there. Put your arm in there. Elijah, I done told you, don't start acting up, bro. Okay, all y'all look nice and decent and clean. We're gonna load y'all in the car since they say y'all don't be in seats. Hey, you go back in that back seat, get that seat for Isaiah. The car seat in the back of the house. Cause they saying y'all don't be in car seats. I like to know how y'all don't be in car seats. That's weird. People weird on the internet. Everybody in that car together, everybody in seat belts and seats. They need to shut their trap. For real. Comment keep coming up over and over again. Like Lala has a video dragging you about you got a shirt on Elijah that looks bad. How could you send him to school like that? How do I know? How did I know? I didn't know he had on he took off his coat and put on that green coat like that. That coat probably been dirty inside of his book bag, but ain't nothing in his book bag because he don't carry no book bag to school. He had that black book bag. So that day he probably just had that coat somewhere else because he did have a coat in his hand. But I don't think it was that green coat because it was dark that night. We got up. He went to, no, that wasn't that same day either. Where did that coat come from? So, hell if I know. But at the end of the day, Lala, I appreciate you putting it out there.
It's pretty self-explanatory. A mother who doesn't care about her kids' future, let alone their education, is a dangerous one. Because here's the bigger picture. You cannot spend a child's entire childhood refusing to prepare them for the real world and then expect the real world to have sympathy when that child grows up unprepared. At some point, those kids are going to leave that house and the world is not going to care that nobody taught them how to function. Nobody is going to care that they weren't taught how to manage money. Nobody is going to care that they can't read properly, fill out an application, hold a conversation with an employer, follow instructions, cook a meal, clean a home, make a doctor's appointment, keep a schedule. And I think the saddest part of all this is that their parents know this firsthand. Nobody is going to care that mama did everything for them, or worse, didn't do anything for them. Nobody is going to care that daddy did everything for them, or worse, didn't do anything for them. And that's what scares me, because when you consistently fail to teach a child, you're not just creating a problem for that child at 8, 10, 12, or 15 years old. You're potentially creating an adult who has absolutely no idea how to survive without someone carrying them. And eventually, someone is going to stop carrying them. What happens when they can't get a job because they don't have the education or basic skills required? What happens when they get a paycheck and blow every dollar because nobody taught them how to budget? What happens when the rent is due and they don't know how to manage money? What happens when they have kids of their own and suddenly realize that diapers, food, clothes, transportation, childcare, and bills don't magically appear? What happens when nobody is around to clean up behind them anymore? What happens when someone tells them no? What happens when an employer corrects them? What happens when a teacher expects them to follow directions? What happens when the police stop them? What happens when a judge asks them why they did something wrong? Because the world is not going to sit there and say, well, nobody ever taught you, so we'll just pretend you didn't do it. That's not how adulthood works. And this is where I get extremely frustrated with people who confuse providing for a child with actually parenting a child. Feeding them is important. Clothing them is important. Giving them a roof over their head is important. But raising a human being requires more than keeping them physically alive. You have to teach them. You have to teach them how to communicate, how to regulate themselves, how to solve problems, how to accept correction, how to apologize, how to respect other people's property, how to respect other people's bodies, how to handle rejection, how to work for what they want, how to lose without becoming destructive, how to hear no without throwing a tantrum, how to take accountability when they're wrong, and how to understand that their feelings are indeed valid, but their feelings do not give them permission to hurt someone else. Because if you don't teach a child that stealing is wrong, eventually they may steal. If you don't teach them that violence isn't an acceptable response to conflict, eventually they may put their hands on someone. If you don't teach them that other people's belongings aren't theirs, eventually they may take something that doesn't belong to them. And if you don't teach them that work produces income, they may grow up believing money is something they're simply entitled to receive. If you don't teach them responsibility, they'll grow into adults who blame everybody else for every consequence they experience, and then everyone wants to be shocked when the child becomes an adult with a criminal record. A history of bad decisions, no work ethic, no independence, and no understanding of why the world won't keep rescuing them. And imagine that child standing in court one day. Their attorney is saying, "Your Honor, please show my client some grace. They weren't taught these things growing up." And the judge might sympathize. But sympathy doesn't erase consequences, because the victim still got hurt, the property was still stolen, the money is still gone, the crime still happened, and that's the tragedy. The parent may eventually get to say, "I failed my child," but the child may have to spend years paying for that failure. That's why I keep reiterating this over and over. This isn't simply about what these kids are doing right now. I'm looking at the bigger picture. I'm looking at what happens when these kids become adults, because you can handicap a child without ever putting a hand on them. You can handicap them educationally, you can handicap them socially, you can handicap them emotionally, financially, and you can handicap them by never teaching them independence. And then one day you send that child into a world that expects them to know how to function, and suddenly everyone else is supposed to deal with the consequences of what you refuse to teach your kids. That's not fair to the child. That's not fair to society. And frankly, that's not love. Because real love isn't doing everything for your child so they never struggle. Real love is teaching them enough that when you're no longer here to do it for them, they can do it for themselves. And from everything we've seen, even if Colossal or Hayward never admitted, they aren't preparing those kids for independence. They're preparing them for dependence. And eventually, those kids are going to have to live in a world where nobody cares. They didn't care because your mother was Colossal, your father is Hayward. They didn't care that your father had a wife and still continued to impregnate your truck stop visiting mother. They didn't care. They're not going to care that your father worked at Waffle House for 15 years and never once got offered a promotion, and was even fired once upon a time for stealing silverware, but then eventually rehired when the silverware magically reappeared. They're not going to care. And how far do you honestly think victimhood is going to get you? I get it. Your mother has made it her way of life for 41 years. But let me be clear. Your circumstances may explain you, but they do not get to become your permanent excuse. Because look at the example sitting right in front of you. Your mother is 41 years old and she's still living in victimhood. At this point, she has turned being a victim into a full-time occupation. She has figured out how to make victimhood profitable. But here's the question no one wants to ask. Is that really the life you want for you? Because people may rescue you when you're a child. They may excuse you when you're young. They may give you grace because you didn't know any better. But eventually, you do become an adult. And the world is going to say, okay, now what are you going to do? Nobody is going to care forever that your mother didn't teach you. Nobody is going to care forever that your father wasn't around. And nobody is going to keep lowering the bar because you had a shitty childhood. And that may sound harsh, but I said what I said. I'm a living witness. You don't have to be like the sorry ass adults that took everything from you before you were old enough to realize what was happening. Because at some point you have to stop asking everyone else to understand why you're broken and start asking yourself what you're going to do to become whole. Are you going to take a page out of Colossal Cat's handbook and make victimhood your entire personality? Are you going to take a page out of Hayward Yarborough's handbook and make children disappear from their lives, contribute little or nothing to raising them, and then perform fatherhood for social media? Is that going to be your legacy too? Because your parents can hand you dysfunction, but they cannot force you to pass it down. They can hand you poverty, but they don't have to receive it back from you. They can hand you ignorance, but you can educate yourself. They can hand you trauma, but you can decide it ends with you. They can show you what a terrible parent looks like, and you can use that knowledge to become the exact opposite. That's where your power comes in, because eventually blaming mama and daddy isn't going to pay your bills. It isn't going to get you a diploma. It isn't going to get you a driver's license. It isn't going to teach you how to budget. It isn't going to teach you how to stand up and say, you know what, that's the bullshit I was born into. But I'm not going to be like either of they sorry asses. I don't care what they did. I don't care how many drugs they did. I don't care how many kids they had in abandon. I don't care how fucking slow they are. That's not gonna be my story. That is never going to be my story. And into making sure that's not my story, if I decide to become a parent, that will never be my kid's story either. It ends with me. It stops here. What are you going to do? It isn't going to make you a good partner. It isn't going to make you a good parent. And it damn sure isn't going to build the life you say you want. At some point, you have to pick up the pen. Are you going to let two adults who couldn't get their own lives together write the rest of yours? Are you going to let their failures become your identity? Are you going to spend your entire life standing at the starting line screaming, but nobody taught me, while everybody else keeps moving forward? Are you going to say, well, they didn't teach me, so I'm going to teach myself? Trial and error. That's the difference between an explanation and an excuse. Now, if you haven't noticed by yet, I'm long-winded, and when I get to talking and I'm passionate about it, I don't know how to shut up. But I'm gonna try to force myself to shut up so we can talk about the rest of the shit that's been going on. This funky ass heathen is still taking us along on her bootleg ass laundry hauls, something she still can't do at 41 years old, and refuses to take the advice from others so that she can finally learn how to do something in her life the correct way. Everywhere Colossal Cat goes, and sadly the Colossal Cat kids, one thing they're going to do, they're going to funk it up. They are going to make sure that they deplete all the oxygen and they leave absolutely nothing behind but funky particles. They're gonna funk up the washer, the laundry, they gonna funk up the school, they gonna funk up the food stamp office, the CPS office. They're gonna funk up everywhere they go, absolutely everywhere. And you still taking us on these funky ass excursions to the laundromat when you enter funky and you leave funkier. Those clothes enter funky and they leave funkier because you don't know how to not be funky, how to not funk something up. And people try to give you advice to try to help you so you can stop being just a funky walking bacterial infection, but you refuse to take it because you like the way that you're living. You like to be the funkiest in the room. In another funky facts, just in case you didn't know, I'm so sick and tired of these people wearing these black funky ass tights, because every time you put those funky ass tights on, I just feel extremely sorry for the fabric. I'm over here, I find myself praying for the fabric that has to touch Colossal. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. You do not deserve this. You do not deserve to be taken out in such a harsh, cruel way. And I don't like this. Like, at this point, can we stop? Can we make clean great again? Take funky away. They need to start arresting people for being funky, and go to Sumter, South Carolina, because this is the first person you need to arrest. Matter of fact, I'm gonna become the funky squad. The funky squad. If you know anyone that walks around and they funk up everywhere they go, email me. We're going to get them up out the way because we deserve to live in a funky-less environment, in a funky-less society. And being funky is a choice. And this idiot on your screen has chosen for 41 years old to be the funkiest in the state of South Carolina and possibly North Carolina as well. You know, when I was younger and you could wake up sometimes early in the morning and it would be funky as hell outside. And it's probably because of this on your screen. I know some of you won't take my plea serious, but then I know some of you might. This is all that we have. This is the only earth that humans can occupy, and we can live here. We cannot continue to let funky members of the Funk Squad ruin our planet, ruin our air. I refuse to continue to pretend like this isn't happening until this funky menace is no longer a danger to society, a danger to our air supply. I'm gonna keep talking, because trust me, eventually all the funky MFers on this planet, they're gonna be caught and they're going to be dealt with accordingly. They're going to have to take a bath with soap, ammonia, arsenic, apple cider vinegar. They're going to have to go to a doctor's appointment and get whatever it is fixed up. Because they're not going to keep getting away with this. Not as long as my name on YouTube is Laesaidit. And that's just what it is.
How you gonna run and your dumb ass fill out? Gotta work tomorrow, so I'll do it today. That's fine, get it. Before you come down. Get 50 cents out of there.
No, it's only a quarter.
Okay, now do it slow because it's only $4.75 now. Do it slow.
What, sir?
You put the money in, do it slow. It's $4.75 now. It's not $5.50 anymore. That's $10 right there. You make sure all the clothes out the car right quick before you start it all up. Because I know I tend to leave things. You got your hair scarf in there, right? Yeah? Why you got my glasses on? Looking like me. I'm gonna go look and see all the clothes out the car before you start these up. Don't start this one yet. This one over here. Alright, that's $4. Just do it slow because you're gonna have extra quarters. My feet. Okay, this one is $4. This one is $5. That's it. Now how much you got in your hand left? I'll give you $10. $4.25. Give me that. So how much we get at 10? So $4.25 you have left? Mm-hmm. All right. So that's. We charge you what? $5, honey? No, it didn't. I gave you $10. You said you had $4.25 left. Because I only put money in that one. You put the quarter over there. Quarter right there. Let me see when the clothes in the car. You're looking at me like I'm crazy. Girl, I'm about to burn up. Alright, it's hot as fuck out here. I want to make sure I got all the clothes out the car. Left nothing behind. Kids. Stuff in here. Alright, so everything out the car is empty in there. So we're gonna go back in the inside. Damn, it's hot out here. Oh, sun. Ooh, getting black by the day. Nope, start it. I'm about to burn up shit. It's hot outside. Give me my glasses. I wonder when you were gonna take them off. You probably got sweat in it. Ew. Ain't talking about
But it gonna hurt you have blood.
Oh, girl.
And y'all already know Funky Senior and Funky Junior left the laundromat from not washing the clothes properly and ended back up at the Haunted Dungeon, where she then proceeded to show us what she shows us every single day, and that is some cheap ass sugary snacks that she should not be eating and that her kids should not be eating, because it's all they eat and none of them eat anything of nutritional value. And with Colossal Cat as their mother, I'm genuinely concerned about those kids' oral health, because according to what we've seen, this idiot is 41 and needs a full set of dentures already. So if basic dental care is already a struggle for the only adult in charge, what exactly are we expecting for the kids? And what makes it worse is she gets online talking about how tired and exhausted she is from being a mother, as if motherhood is some back-breaking job she's been faithfully clocking into every single day. Like, girl, what? Because the motherly duties you keep describing, we haven't seen the evidence. You can't keep demanding credit for work nobody can see. You don't get a participation trophy for simply bearing kids Colossal Cat grant. And you don't get a trophy for feeding them. Baby, that's what you're supposed to do. You are their mother. But instead of actually addressing those responsibilities, she seems committed to living in the land of the funky and delusional, where apparently claiming you're exhausted is enough to prove you've been doing the work. But hey, who am I to judge? Until next time, remember, you're tuned in with Laesaidit, and that's L-A-E, never to be confused with anyone else. Not her, not him, not them, not they. It's only one, Lay. Call y'all back later. And I want to take a moment to speak to the people who have been personally affected by funk. If you or someone in your family has ever had to endure being around a person whose funk was so severe that you genuinely felt your oxygen supply being depleted, I want you to know you are not alone. These stories deserve to be heard. These victims deserve a voice. And frankly, somebody has to be willing to stand up and say enough is enough. So please, utilize my email address. Send me your stories. Send me your experiences. And I promise you, I will do my due diligence, because we are going to confront these funky villains one by one. And one day, the world will be funk free. Thanks to Laesaidit.
It's the weekend, baby. You know, a lot of them be like, kids home for the weekend, running us crazy. About the threes. That's real good. They have them a little bit different though. This ain't flat. Not gonna disturb my peace. I knew it would come. Who is it? Misa Asia. Hey, turn on bottom lights. Get that bread up. What did you just drop out your hand? Back up. Back up. I'm doing a video. You ate your pizza?
Yeah.
Are you ready for the snack?
Yeah.
Back up that way.
Really good.
It's gonna be really good. Go back that way. You're not gonna be good in what? You gotta pick out one. Hey, stay on that side. Pick out one. You got that? One. You don't get nothing. You grounded for fighting on the bus. So you don't get no. You don't get nothing. One. You got to learn discipline in this household. You know better fighting on the bus and get suspended.
I want to get this one, Mama.
Yeah.
You got two?
See you later. Put that back. One. Cookie. You can get a cookie, but you ain't getting no candy. I gotta start being hard on y'all kids. Y'all know you know better get suspended on that bus. Fighting on the bus. What you fighting for?
I got one. I'm here to play
Get this, Elijah. You lucky. Get this.
I can't open this.
Because you know better than you over there laughing like something funny. Pretty soon you was smirking in her face. So laugh again and see what I do to you. That's y'all kids' problem. Y'all don't get y'all behind cut. All I do is talk to y'all. You smirking like something funny. I think you need to turn off that light, and I think you need to go sit in time out for a couple more minutes. Turn that light off. Fighting on the bus is insane. Here, I said, come pick you up a piece of candy. Here, Elijah. You can get this time. Because everybody else getting snacks. My grandma didn't give us nothing or reward us for nothing when we act up in school. Or we get a spell of spin. We got our behind toe up. I don't know what kind of world y'all think this is. Any kind of world y'all living in. Kaya and Leah, give us your brother. Because you don't aggravate me already. Okay, give him that. Close that bathroom door. You lucky. You welcome. Close that bathroom door and close my room door. Oh, it gets the spinning off the bus. Oh, you welcome. Y'all gonna get y'all behind to her. I told you I was gonna talk to you. I'm making a video. Where's Ty? I can't go this way. Which clothes do you want? Hello? Hello?
I will give it to Kyle. Yeah, probably blue.
Get it. Which one you want? Him pass it on. You ever want to pass them out? Do one bag first and come and get the other one. Because they might not even eat it.
Alright.
Thank you, Leah. Come here. You want coffee? You alright? No. What clothes you want? Red. That's it? Go add this stuff.
I said you want some chips.
Them sausages taste funny. Mountain Dew. Do. Turn that light off in that dining room. Yeah, a lot of guys getting off the bus. First they was horse playing and he started fighting out of nowhere, so they say. Then he told the bus driver told him to sit down. While the bus in motion, he gets up and start moving around on the bus. So if he had to fall or something happen, I can't sue or do nothing because he know better than that. Acting up in school. This ain't his first time acting up on that bus. This is his second incident. They're gonna spin him off that bus all the way. I'm tired of telling him about that. I'm tired of talking to him, man. I try to be damn it nice and lenient and not whoop their behind. But like I said, my grandma would give whatever she could find and tear out behind them. You know better. You do better. I gotta call your dad now. Oh yeah, that's how I'm supposed to look after you shake it up. Now that's right.
Ain't nobody else alive.